Hello, everyone. Welcome to this last month's live coding session. Are we all excited? How is going, Sushmita, Alejandro?
Yes, we're super excited. It's the last live coding session for 2024, and we want to build something exciting for sure.
Yeah,
Nice,
we're ready
nice,
to break
nice.
again.
Ready to break it, eh? I remember like last month we were kind of like hopefully the demo god were with us and we were debugging online. No, sounds good. So what are we doing today? So just for anybody that doesn't know, also make sure that you comment and you're asking questions. But we are bringing to you guys basically we are coding something together for a little bit less than an hour, and we try to build really like a tutorial, building a app from scratch so that any developer out there that is onboarding or is kind of like experienced or just want to follow up, he actually has the opportunity to see. So today is quite special because this is basically like something that Sushmita kind of like built from scratch was this kind of like voting app, and it's actually quite exciting because there is different kind of like parts in the tutorial, and basically for anybody here that is actually following, we will basically go through this. There is this technical kind of blog post that we are following, but also you can also check out Sushmita repo here, voting app starter. And we will publish this actually like now. But remember, this live coding session is really like we want to build something together, and we really want to focus on trying to, responding question, trying to debug together, really showing, what the DevRel team is capable to build, and all the same people you see always at hackathons, you see in our virtual developer activation. So always feel free to respond. Okay, so without further ado, so we are will go through this, and I will let now take over Sushmita or anything before we are starting that people need to know.
Nothing much. I just want to introduce myself and maybe like later Alejandro. So I'm Shushmita. For those who don't know, I'm a DevRel engineer and part of the DevRel team at Consensys, currently focusing on Linea. So super excited to be here and building this. I'll popcorn to Alejandro.
Okay, so yeah, this is Alejandro. We work as a DevRel in MetaMask, and yeah, we've been building like a lot of sampled apps and stuff like that during the time, and yeah, we're ready to break this application again. So yeah, let's do it.
Nice, nice, good timing, good timing. Okay, let's get it started. And in the meantime, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. And yeah, we're just also sharing the links for people actually to follow.
Amazing. I guess I can take over. Before I go deep dive into the code, I want to show like how it will look like that we are gonna build like as a finished product in a way.
Nice.
So this is the like I know I'm sharing this, but this is like the linear pool or linear word, whatever we call it when you build. So when you connect your wallet, this is like the candidate's index number. Based on the candidate's index number, you'll be able to vote, and it will be on-chain voting. So every time you vote, you will have to approve a transaction from your MetaMask wallet, and that's how the votes will be counted. I think the one of the most exciting feature that we are gonna be adding here is that one wallet address can only vote once. They cannot go and vote like bunch of times. So this is something really exciting. So yeah, but from that, I guess it's time for us to deep dive into the code.
Question,
Let me
Sushmita, for the people hearing, what are the kind of dependencies that they can have already kind of like pre-installed, like to follow this?
follow. I think like it's just I think we always kind of, so for this tutorial we are using Next.js and also like a hard hat. And with the Next.js we are using this UI component CN UI because it's easier and you just install by module, just simple components based. And apart from that, we are
Wagmi.
also using Wagmi Vim to for the wallet connectors. And yeah, of course, Linea and Infura. Linea for the L2 and Infura for the node provider. That's what we're gonna be using. And of course, MetaMask wallet. We'll definitely need to get through a private key to deploy a smart contract. So yeah, I
There is a question like requirements for voting? What?
Uh, I think like we didn't really add any extra requirements for voting for this application. It's just that if you're creating this application and if you wanna vote, you'll have one person can only vote once for a fair participation. That's the only rules we have added, as it's a simple voting app. But you can go way beyond, like build more requirements and anything from here. So yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started, I guess. I will go ahead and share my screen. Let's see. Let me find the window.
And
There
by the
we
way, you can
go.
also like extend this. I mean, after this basic voting is done, you can even extend this with like the MetaMask delegation toolkit for delegation of voting, or you can even like build features on top, like voting weights based on kind of maybe the contribution power. So there is a lot of like things. Like the big important part here is that having the basic that we're teaching here, and then you can just fork the repo, build, and expand on top of this.
Totally. So before I go ahead, I think like I kind of want to mention like our starter case. This is from one of the starter case that we have. We use like a monorepo structure where like both of the blockchain part of the package and the front end side of the package are together, and we can just run the package manager together, both of these. So this is like the front end side, this is like the blockchain or hard hat side. I'll go through the contract first. So we would have written the contract live on the code, but we only have less than an hour to go through all of that, so we are on a time constraint, sadly. But yeah, let's take a look at how the smart contract looks like. So of course we are starting with the solidity types and all that. And within the voting, we are gonna like with struct, we are one getting like a we're representing a candidate. So like, with the name and like how much the vote with vote count, we are telling like how much the votes the candidates are getting. So over here, we are focusing on like array to store all the candidates, because remember that we are gonna give each and every candidate index number. So and address of the contact owner that's deploys, and this is how we are gonna map to keep track of every voter that will vote or are gonna vote. And so we also have this feature like we have this time period. Within this time period the voting can start, and after this time period ends, it will show that the voting period has ended and you cannot vote anymore. So this is where we are starting for the timestamp. And this is the constructor function to initialize the smart contract. And over here we are just adding initial candidates to the arrays, so that we can map the candidates and like put some index number. And we'll have to make sure that the candidates length is not more than like the index number. And yeah, just how we learned at college, ls array starts from 0. So that's how our candidates index number is gonna be there. And yes, so this is gonna, the message search sender is gonna set the contract owner that is gonna deploy the smart contract. And this is what we are setting the time and like duration for the when the voting starts and when it ends. And this modifier, this is I mentioned that there's like a one specific rules that we have added, that only one address owner, like wallet address owner, can vote only once. So and also like this is a modifier to like there's a restrict for owner only. And this is the function that will be where we'll be pushing like we can call. I think we'll do that when we are doing the like a deploying through ignition module from hardhat, like pushing the candidates and like a vote count. So yeah. And then this is like a function for voters to cast their vote. Like, so for voter for, let's say that I'm using an wallet and I want to vote. For me, I have to input the candidate's index number to vote. And of course this function checks if the person that's going to vote has voted before with with these lines. And if that person has already voted, that person cannot vote. So that, and also like if the candidate index number is valid when voting. So when the voting happens, it increments the vote count for the chosen candidates, and yeah, like marks the voter, like the wallet that it has been voted for the part. So that's what like we're using this boolean for. And function to get all candidates and their vote count. We get this through this function, and this function only checks like if the voting is currently active, because remember we added this timestamp which we will be using like for voting periods. And this is the function for remaining time of the voting, because the it's kind of like goes lower from time, and if voting ended or not from here, and yeah, otherwise return the remaining time. Now that we went through the smart contract, I just want to show you guys the ignition deployment module. So with hard hat, like recent updates, I think it has been more than few months. Or we have this ignition module where we will use each module. We can deploy multiple smart contract by using like different modules. So over here we're just using build modules, and we're defining the voting module over here. And over here we are setting default values and pushing some candidates. So we're just pushing some like candidate 1, 2, and 3, and we are just sending some default duration time from here. And we are gonna get some parameters from the default values, and when we deploy, these will be overwritten. And this is where we are deploying the voting smart contract. And like this is we are passing the default candidates and the duration to the constructor that will be deployed, and returns the smart contract on our terminal. And yeah, this is just exporting the voting module for the deployment script. To deploy this a smart contract, we will need few things, just like I mentioned before. We'll need inferior API key, and of course your wallet private key. But of course, I don't want to show you guys my actual .env file, because I do want to protect my private key and
Yes.
few sepolia it.
It's a
And this
good
is a
practice. Don't
always
share that part. Yes. We have
no,
also one
don't.
question,
Yeah.
Susmita, on that. Can contract owners always set voting starts and after deployment of the contract? Good question, Kelvin. There.
Okay, let's say yes. For this smart contract, the contract owner can start like when the contract is being deployed. It's actually like just starting. We are pushing the deployment to that. Okay, this now the voting will start. So that's how like the contract owner setting the time for this.
Nice, nice.
So yeah, make sure to always protect your private key, even if it's for your testnet or like just testnet of Linea Sepolia 8. And to deploy the contract, we need to config the hard hat a little bit. We'll have to add this Linea Sepolia, because as a node provider, we'll need this, and this is how account private key will go. So let's start the deployment process. I'll get a new terminal. So the first thing I will need to do is that, as I mentioned before, this is a monorepo. So I'll have to go inside the packages, then blockchain to go to the where I am right now. So cd packages, cd let's see, blockchain. Okay, so as I am now inside the blockchain, now I can run npx hard hat compile. Now let's see what this will do. So this actually compiled the smart contract, and this generated few files. Let's take a look at that. So here we can see our artifacts folder. So over here, do you see this voting? Let me just pull it down a little bit. So this is the smart contract ABI, and we will definitely need this before our smart front end part. we need to save these, and we will need these ABIs. So, and there's also like a type chain types, but those are we don't need to focus right now. Let's go ahead. And so yeah, we have compiled the smart contract, and this looks good. And yeah, now we'll need to, so here's the fun part. So when we deploy the contract, we'll have this deployment folder added over here. So let's go ahead and let's see. So to deploy the on the README, the linear strategy, I have already added like a few instructions how you can deploy and like edit things for a smart contract. So for now, we will use this contract, this command to deploy the smart contract. Let's copy that, and yeah, and we will go ahead, just yeah. Um, we'll wait and yes, confirm. I guess we are waiting for the address, but if we take, there it is. That is, we need to copy this also. The ABI and this plays a really important part for our front end integration. So if we take a look at this, let's take a look at the ignition folder. You'll see this deployment folder being added and all this extra stuff being there. So this is happens with this new ignition module. So yeah, you can always actually go ahead and like, I know we wrote like a really huge command for this. You can go ahead and edit the this JSON file, package.json file, and add few lines so that the CLI command could be smaller. But that's up to you. You can do a lot of things with this. But yeah, so we have already deployed the contract, and it's been deployed on Linea. So now let's go ahead and let's first take a look at like a front end side a little bit. Then I'll show you the deployed contract on Linea. So for our, let's see, on source components. Okay, not this one, on app. Okay, yeah. Yeah, so over here on this constant, okay, no, this is like an old contract. We'll have to add the new smart contract one. I guess I'll stop sharing this screen. I want to show if how it's been deployed on Linea. Let me find this. Yeah. Yeah, blocks. Okay. Ali, do you wanna also start going over the front end? I'm just
yeah, for sure.
okay. Let me quickly show the contract that has been created. So let me share my screen one more time. So I'll just share this. Let's see, what is the arc window contract address? So this is the contract that has been created while we just deployed, and contract address like 2 minutes ago, the contract creation that just happened from here that we just deployed right now. So yeah, I'll stop sharing, and I'll send over the contract address and the ABI to Alejandro so he can start with the front end integration.
Great. I think we didn't see like the deployment part like on the Explorer, but
Oh, I just show it right now.
Oh, we are not. Are you screen sharing?
Oh, I thought I was. Hang on.
Sorry, I was literally.
Can
yeah,
you
There
see?
you are
probably
now.
need.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah. Do you see this? It was deployed 2 minutes ago. This is
Okay,
the
that's our contract.
yes, this is the one that
Okay,
we
okay,
have
okay.
just created. So
Cool.
yeah.
That's very cool. I also want to mention that Etherscan, for anybody that is doing user ops and account abstraction development, now they have a full visible account abstraction transaction. So you will see the bundle hash and the transaction hash. And those are available in Etherscan, and they added yesterday. So this is a cool news for all the devs doing account abstraction dApps. Okay,
This
cool.
is
So
definitely,
it's super cool, right? Yeah,
yeah.
I actually like shared I shared out this small like thread here, but so for anybody want to check out the construction and what it is can do. But let's give quick context. So basically, Sushmita now like deployed the smart contract and just show basically the first part and of this anatomy of this DApp, and now basically we are passing to Alejandro to build the full like front end. And a question like Leandro, like, are you normally like building the front end based on like some pre-configured front end, or how is the best practices normally that you kind of like recommend the developers to do?
I mean, right now we have a CLI that we used to start. In this case, we are using like the starter kit that Sushmita prepared for the live stream, but usually I create my front end application from the beginning. We have some tools that we could use, of course, like Rainbow Kit in our case that we are using like the WACME for the MetaMask SDK. I think that's the best way to start. Uh, but yeah, in this case, we created this front end from scratch. So we're going to
Nice.
start giving it a look. I don't know. Are you looking at my screen? Not yet.
No, no, no.
Oh,
It
no,
was.
not yet.
And I'm sharing here again for everybody that is looking both the blog post of Sushmita and the
Let me
repo
start.
that we're going through.
Yeah. Also, like Alejandro mentioned some like a best use case for the front end. I think you would mention it on the call as well while we go over the.
Yes.
I think we wanna zoom a little bit. It's super small.
Okay, like this.
Uh, Yes, yes, I think it's fine. Yes. Free
Cool.
always to jump in the chat. I saw some question we answered. Um, and one question we were also like, how is it ensured that the voting result will be implemented?
We have this voting function that we vote by using the index number. So when we do that, we are signing a transaction, and it will be implemented toward the function to the blockchain. That it will be like a. So there's like option that when we are building the front end, we are focusing on are we reading the data from the blockchain or are we writing that. So this is like writing the data on the blockchain that this vote has been gone through and this result will be implemented. So this is what
Nice.
something Ale will do in a bit. So
Yep.
let's keep
Yeah,
going.
thanks for the questions, Eric. It's super useful.
Yes. Well, first, in this case, we are going to be creating like the interactive part of this application. I don't think we show it how it look. I know. Yeah, we did. We
We,
did
we
show it
did
how
we
it
did.
looked at the end. So basically, we have a header, a connect wallet button. We have an input where we can add like the option we're selecting, like the candidate, and we have the candidate. So basically, what we're going to do here is start building it using WACME hooks. We're going to be using like the use account and use wallet client to create the client for the wallet and start interacting with the blockchain. Use account to interact with the account of the user, seeing if it's connected or not, or stuff like that. We have a connect wallet button that is actually a component that I created, and it's actually an npm package. If you want to use this connect wallet button, you can just run npm install Consensys connect button, and it'll be all set up for you. We have some components from ChatCN, and we have write contract or write contract from WACME.
What
We could take this and do this. So this way it'll be a bit better.
did we
And
uh, did we add the
yep.
ABI and the address yet?
Sorry.
The ABI and the address to the constants.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Something that we had to do is to take like the wallet address that Sushmita just deployed, and add
No,
it right here.
this is actually the
I
contact
mean, no,
address.
not the wallet address, the contract address.
Contact address.
That's true. And the contract ABI, which is the ABI for the contract that we are going to be calling or interacting with. So yeah, it's already there. Let me just take this from here and add it right here, and this, and add it right here, and let me remove this. And yeah, cool. So let's start building this. Basically, what we are going to do, we want to get the address from the user account. So we are going to do this exactly. Basically, this is to check if the user has connected their wallet. So probably first, we want the user to connect. So let's add probably the connect wallet button, like right here, connect button. So this way we're going to have a button. I will go through the code because we will share at the end. So we are going to create a wallet client right here. So this way we can just start interacting with the wallet of the user, if it's connected, of course. We're going to do some validations soon. We want to use the right contract hook right here because this is the hook that we are going to be calling to get the right contract function that will allow us to write the contracts. We're going to read the contracts, which actually the name is not like this. We're going to be doing this a bit different. And yeah, let's start getting like the voting status. So in this case, I am going to do something like this, and I am going to call use read contract. And in this case, we are going to pass like the ABI, the contract address, and the function that we want to call to. I'm going to copy paste this from the example that we already have. So I do not take like so much time writing it by myself. So in this case, we have the voting status. This status will tell us if the voting is active or not. Remember that Sushmita added like a timestamp to the contract, so that way we can end the voting. So yeah, let's continue. We are going to create this variable right here, which is can vote. It'll tell us if the user can vote. If the user has already voted, they won't be able to vote. So we are going to do that validation in the future too. We're going to get the remaining time. In this case, the UI won't be like updating it every second. So we're going to show like the seconds that remain. But if you want to update it like constantly, you should create a use effect and call the function like every second. We're not going to be doing that right now. We're going to get the candidates also right here. And we're going to do a validation right now just to make sure that we have candidates in this case, because we're going to be using candidates down here. So basically what we're going to do next is to create like the function to vote. I will explain it. I will copy paste it and I will explain it because it'll be yeah, probably here I want to add this. Wait a second. Because right here we have this function and a type error because number is right here. Okay, I haven't created number. So I want to have this right here. Okay. So Yeah, basically in this function, we are going to cast a vote. Basically what we do first is if we check if the wallet client exists, if the address exists, and if a number is an empty string. If something of this is true, I mean, or this is false and this is falsy, we're going to return this console log right here. So the user is not going to be able to vote. Also, we're verifying or verifying if the number is not a number, if it's a letter, stuff like that. Probably one of the things that you could do to improve the application is to do some validations to the input, like check if it's a number and avoid a user to, you can push the user to not write like a letter or something like that in the input. In this case, we're just validating it right here, but you can do that adding some yeah thing to the input. So right here, what we do is a try catch, and we're going to try to write the contract. So we have the contract address, the one we just added right here in the constants.ts. We have also the ABI, and we have the function name. We already saw the smart contract that Sushmita shared. So we know that there is a function that's vote, and this one is the one that's going to cast the vote. Right now, what we are going to do is to start building our UI. So yeah, let me just start. I don't know, I can, wait a second. I will take this. Wait. I will talk about all this. This is like a lot of code, but let me just talk about this right here. Right now, what I just did, I added like the connect wallet button that we have right here. We have added some divs and that to do some styling, and we're using, of course, Tailwind. This project right here was created with the CLI that we created. So the CLI brings already like the connect wallet button and Tailwind installed. This one is using Next.js, but you could set the project with Vite and React and stuff like that. So this is already set up, like Tailwind and all that. And basically what I just did was to use the connect wallet button. The voting status, we're checking right here if we can vote. If we can vote and the address exists, then we are going to show like the connected account, which is the one that's right here. It's going to be the user's address. We have a clock icon that we are showing right here. We have the remaining time in seconds. This is not updating like every second, but you know, if the user can vote, then we're going to show the vote button. If not, we are going to say that they have already voted. Also, we're going, if they do not have any of these, we're going to prompt them to connect their wallet to vote, basically. Other than that, we have the voting that has finished. So if the time has already passed, so you won't be able to vote. I think here we have the candidates. We're mapping the candidates that we're getting in this function right here. Get all vote of candidates. So that way we are going to check if the candidate has received a vote, or this way we are going to show it in our UI. So I think I am going kind of fast. You guys let me know if I'm going fast. But yeah.
I think how about like maybe like a showing, like I remember like how we mentioned like what we are reading from the smart contract and what we are writing on the smart contract, maybe read and write part, just going over a little bit.
Okay. Basically, right here, you mean in the UI or in the functions?
In the UI part, like page.tsx.
Okay. This is the
because
page.
because because we are using like a wagme hooks, like read and write, and like a
Yeah. Okay, let me see the two packets side. And let me just try something right here. I just want to check. But okay, basically what we are doing right here, let me just, probably we can go over the smart contract functions. So here we're getting the voting status. Yeah, we are basically reading this function that we have right here. Let me just look for the function, get voting status. Basically, this function returns uh, uh, the if it's active or not. This is a boolean. This returns a boolean. So if it's true, it's because it's active. If it's false, it's because it's not active, of course. So basically what we're doing right here is to call that function and get the status uh, of the poll, or I don't know, whatever.
linear vote.
Yeah, the linear vote. uh, Also, if you have questions or you read some question from the chat, you can let me know so we can answer them. Can vote. Let's just come right here and see what the can vote function has. Let me just check. Can vote. Can vote is voters. So voters is a mapping. So the mapping has the address and a boolean. So what I think is that probably you're going to set the address right here, and if it's true, it's because this address already vote, and if it's false or it doesn't exist, it's because they haven't vote. So yeah, what we are doing right here, like can vote, is to check if the user exists. If the user doesn't exist, you are going to be able to vote. If the user exists, so uh, you won't be able to vote because it means that you have already voted. The remaining time, we're going probably to call this function right here that will get the remaining time, which function is get remaining time. So yeah, we have a require right here, which is a kind of conditioning solidity. So if this condition happens, we're going to prompt this message right here. If not, we are going to continue with the execution of our function. So we're going to do a check right here, and we're going to return the voting end in this case. Uh, so yeah, like the remaining time. What else? We have get all votes of candidates. Let's give it a look here. Basically, this returns all the candidates. So the candidates, let's give it a look to the candidates. Right here, we have a candidate that has like a name and a vote count. So a candidate will contain like all the votes that user has or have sent to the voting application. So when we get all the votes of candidates, what we are doing is to retrieve the candidates and see all the votes that they have. And the vote function. Basically, what we are doing right here is it's calling uh, all the other functions that we have up there, and also this one right here, which is the one that serves to write the contract. We have this vote function right here in our smart contract. And let's give it a look. Okay, this is difficult. Okay, this is the function. There is like a lot of vote words.
Yeah,
Well, it's a voting application. That makes sense.
it does.
We have a require
That's
right here. Yeah. Um, these are, again, conditions in solidity. So we have to check if the voter exists in the voters. So if the message that sender exist on the voters. We're going to show that they have already voted. And we have the candidate index. So it should be minor than the candidate's length, because this function receives the index of the candidate you want to vote for. So we have to check if that index is inside the candidates that we have in this voting. So yeah, this will update the voters with the message that sender equal to true. That means that you have already voted, what we saw right here in the voters application and address, and a Boolean after that. So that's basically how our application works. Let's give it a look. Okay, this is like the moment of truth.
Yeah, if it
And
works or breaks. Let's see.
wait a second. I think I'm not sharing this screen, but this will allow me to see first if this is working.
Is it working?
Okay, it is. It is. It is.
It is
So
nice.
that, yeah. Let me now share. Wait a second. Localhost. Okay, I think I'm sharing, right?
Yes. Okay, so I think we got a question. It says like, are there ways for voters to see their vote? I think currently you can just see like voting count increasing, but apart from that, we won't be able to see like which address voted right away. But yeah, but maybe that's something we could really explore on, like how to add more functionalities.
I mean,
The
I think
moment.
we're going to have extra time. We could. What's this? Okay, here it
Oh,
is.
that's the connected account, and let's
Okay,
vote.
yeah. Let me just check. I don't know which network I'm at. Okay, this is mainnet. I don't. Okay, this is Linea mainnet. Let me go to Linea Cepolia. Okay. So, yes, some stuff that you can do to improve this, which this will be already set up in next updates of the SDK, but you could create a switch network button right here to switch to the right network. And yeah, but yeah, let's vote. Let's vote. So we have
Uh,
3 candidates. Yeah.
you have to put like a candidate index number is zero,
Yeah.
one, or two. In any
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
those.
Let's see if this works. What if I put 5? So
Okay.
probably it won't work. Let me just, we have a cancel block here for sure. And it's a invalidate candidate index. Something that you could do is to have an state right here to
We cannot see
show
the
the user.
console.
Okay, you cannot see the console, but
No, no.
there it is. There is the message. Trust me.
Trust me, bro.
Yeah.
Source.
So yeah, let's say 2. Let's vote. So they should prompt the message right here, transaction request. Yes, let's see it confirm. And let's see if, let me just check the console again. Of course, I can just,
Maybe you reload the page, you'll see the vote being counted.
yes. Let me reload. There it is,
There you.
like the
There's the vote.
2. Yeah. It has the vote. So, and I have already voted, so I cannot vote again. Let me just
You
try
cannot
something
cheat.
with
You
another
cannot cheat.
account.
Double voting.
Yeah. Okay, let me just reload this again. Disconnect, and let me connect my wallet again with my other account.
Okay, you can vote with the other wallet.
Okay, I can vote. What do you think? Should I vote for 2 again, or should I vote for
No,
another
go
one?
for 0.
Okay, for 0. Okay, let's see.
Let's not monopolize these votes.
Okay. I think it's, let me just check my wallet. Pending. It's waiting. We have to wait a second. confirmed. So okay, there it is. We have
There
another
we go.
vote in the zero. So yeah, I think we have a working poll, like Linea poll,
Yeah.
and yeah, we have the remaining time. So if you want to vote, you probably uh, should vote like soon. Wait a
Yeah.
second. I think I don't know if this is a good idea or something, but there is right now like no. We're using this application right here is running with Next.js 14, but we with Next.js 15 you get a you can create a local server and you can share that link to other people and they can vote. That would be fun.
Okay.
But
That would be so much fun. I think we should do that for our next one or
yeah, yeah,
something.
yeah. Probably I need to update like the CLI to run with the latest Next.js. It's where it
Definitely.
should have the latest. But yeah.
It's all
So
right.
I think that's pretty much it. Let me just check if we have questions so we can answer them.
Yeah.
We have a couple of people that were mentioning that is actually a good live coding session. Yeah, Web3 is also mentioning, it would be cool also to build SMS-based peer-to-peer transfer app. That would be actually super cool.
Yeah, it would be
Yeah.
super cool
I
to think
think,
about.
yeah, all the questions are all kind of like, transferring ownership of the vote. I think this is definitely like possible with the direction toolkit. Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
We have this with the delegation toolkit, we can definitely do that.
I mean, I could vote for users.
Yeah, definitely.
Uh, what type
one
of
question from
tabs?
Calvin. Did we answer already that one from Calvin? Can the contract owner always set voting starts and end after deployment?
Yeah, I think I have answered, but it's like when you deploy the contract, you mention the timestamp, and that's how the module like sets the time for the start and the end of the contract, voting start. So yeah.
Nice. Nice. What are the common, do you think, uh, practices error that you see, like, new hackers in the hackathon implementing? Like, sometimes, for example, I feel like people want to always build a front end from scratch. I'm always trying to suggest, like, pre-built CLI or something like that. But in general, like, even exposing their key to Schmidt, I think, like, that was a good thing always. But what are the other things that you see that people are doing?
I think like one of the most common thing that I notice from the new hackers is that when they start during the hackathon, they start kind of going after all those known boilerplates because as they're newcomers, they don't even know Next.js in depth or like React in depth to modify those boilerplates. So it's really good. It's really like better to go after like simple maybe like a boilerplate, like at least just have like a maybe simple connect wallet done or something because there are many boilerplates where it builds like a whole application, and to clean that up for a newcomer it takes a bunch of time because they need to
Yeah.
understand.
And usually at the beginning, like hackers usually like overcomplicate themselves. Like they have a really good idea, probably a really big idea that they want to build. So they have this big amount of ideas all together and they want to start building it. I would say that using tools like the CLI or something that scaffolds like a project with the based Web3 interactions that you could do could be a really good start. And of course, pointing something to a specific function, like let's say like this one right here, we have a voting application, let's vote, that's it. Of course we could add so much more functionalities to our application, like showing specific data or add more interactivity, but in this case we are being simple and we have a voting application working. That's it. Of course, from here you can do whatever you want. You can make it more complex, you could add more information to it. But this is something that I see usually in hackathons. Like you're hackers are usually overcomplicating themselves. But yeah,
Yeah, also like there should be some basic preparation before the hackathon starts. Like we see hackers just opening the tool like for the first time during the hackathons. I mean, it's yeah, for sure. We want hackers to start from the scratch, like building the application, but they're allowed to use all kinds of boilerplate. They're allowed to go through the docs or the tools even way before the hackathons. So those types of preparation can be done way before the hackathon starts, and like being prepared for that. So when it starts, they go exploring all the docs, and then like there's really very little time to actually implement something.
Agree, agree. I mean, speaking about the CLI, I think we can actually share the link. So we are in process also to have this directly in the MetaMask documentation, right? But I think
Yeah.
like the doc, where is the?
Let me
This is
share
the
it
one,
with
right?
you.
The create Web3.
Yeah, yeah.
So I think the
Yeah.
best advice for hacker is to like go simple and just start from the real basic implementation.
Yes.
It is right here in the chat.
Oh yes, 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 yes. I can share this one. So this is something that
Yeah.
also like we started to use during Eat Global Brussels, and
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and people can just take it from here and getting started.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're also working on some quick start applications that will contain it'll be like improved version of what you get using this CLI. We're actually doing some updates to the CLI on that. And yeah, it'll be included on the MetaMask SDK documentation soon. So you can start using it and testing it, and and we're working also in a pretty big examples repository. Early January. I could no early January. No, I'm saying it wrong. But in
You know,
February
in
should
the
be
in the live stream recorded,
next
early
year.
January
Next
is
year.
early January.
No. I didn't say that. It was
I'm
a
joking,
joke.
joking. No, but one thing is definitely we're also doing is we're putting together this all this tutorial list, and we will add this also in the docs, so people can also follow through directly from the docs, and nothing. And then also exciting, also like we're also leveraging Cookbook for specific like docs and tutorial kind of like searches. I think most of the devs now they're always like looking at GPTs, right? So I definitely like see this need. And then what else? I mean, I really like in the comment people are asking questions, also like giving also like new type of like examples that we can go through. I really like the SMS based peer-to-peer transfer app. I think
Yeah.
we can also include some of the partner stack. They're using SMS validation. But yeah,
Mr. Freeze is asking if we have a CLI template for Next. Yeah, I mean, not right now, but we are going to be building for different frameworks right now. We have Bit with React. We already have one already working with Next.js, and we are going to add Remix, but Next is actually on the list too. So we're going to have a Next template for sure.
nice, nice. This is probably what will be added to the MetaMask docs or under
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
npm. Yeah.
The MetaMask doc, basically, we're going to have like a huge repository with all the examples. So we are adding them there
Yes.
uh, by
Yes.
framework and all that. So yeah.
This is cool. And also, like I see, we're almost out of time, but we're also researching a lot around the AI agents frameworks, and we're discussing
Mhm.
today in our meeting also like if people wanna contribute or help us like creating some extra module, either deployment on Linea or integrating SDK. We're most than happy. We're creating now kind of like a bounty caster like page for anybody that, so for anybody that's working on that actively, I wanna actually like support us on that side. We will provide bounty and grants for this module extension.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It will be
Nice.
amazing if we can build
Yeah.
an AI agent.
Nice.
I was going to mention something regarding that, but yeah. I think it'll come. That could come in January. Yeah, yeah.
Nice. People were cooking. We're cooking even during holidays. Awesome. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks everyone. I think that's super good. I really like the questions, and we'll follow up again with the links. We shared also in the chat the links. Also, like big encouragement to check out Sushmita like Mirror blog post and also the repo that people can actually start. And yeah, anything else to add? Apart that, I'm good.
Nothing much. I would just say like we already provided some starter code, and you have the content. So you should experiment a bit and see if there are new things you can do. And if you're a newcomer, this is, I would say, one of the best smaller project to get started with. So yeah.
Yeah. I think also if you have questions, you can reach out through Twitter or Discord. Of course, we're going to be around if you need help with something. Yeah, just let us know. We're we'll be ready to help.
Yeah.
Nice, nice. Yes, and for the context, everyone, we're doing this every month, so we're coming always with new dApps type. And I think the next couple of also sessions we will concentrate on building a dApp and integrating with SDK and deploying on Linea. I think that will be super exciting. And then also like the other things that we just discussed. Okay, thanks everyone. Also, like that was in the background, helping us, supporting in the chat, and making this live stream happening. I think this is really strong for all the developers and builders hearing us right now. I think also is a big courage from Sushmita Leandro's side to live code this and build something from scratch. Awesome, awesome.
Cool.
Okay, thanks,
Awesome.
thanks everyone. See you guys next time. And happy
You. Bye.
holidays in January. Cheers, guys.
Happy
Bye.
holidays.
Bye.
See
Bye.
ya.
Bye. 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 Cheers.